Hi guys, I am back. And I'm gonna go ahead and continue on this journey. I don't know that it's a whole lot different than the last one, but what I did is I took some just like scrapbook paper, you know, like the 8.5 by 11 packs that we all have that we forget about when we're using graphics or like scrapbook paper. So yeah, I am just going to ink up a little bit, glue some pockets, and I'm leaving for right this second some of these, what I like to call naked, because then I had another idea that instead of decorating them all up, what I would do is leave them blank for like notes, like important stuff, like I don't know. I can't even fathom what I would put there right at the second as far as that goes. But, you know, like we always, like somebody tells us something like, you know, how to, like say I'm watching a video and I have my day timer there, instead of writing down exactly what they're saying, or, you know, on a piece of paper, and then we always lose it. And then we go back and try to find it and it's just not there, or whatever the case may be. Or like we're cleaning up and we don't realize it's in between something else, or like we have a million notebooks hanging around. I mean, at least I'm assuming everybody's kind of like me in that, where we, you know, oh yeah, I'll use this notebook for this, and then we forget we have that notebook, and so then we get out a new one, or, you know, whatever. I thought, all right, so getting organized is one of the goals, right? Or staying organized, right? So why not leave these pockets blank, and so when I'm watching a video, or I have like a video inspiration happen, you know, like those aha moments, right? Why not use the front of these pockets, because they're not going anywhere. It's not like I'm going to lose them. It's in my day timer, right? Just write the little note here. That's what I'm thinking for that one. So yeah, now I'm just I've kind of got it set where I think I've got the pages I want to save. And then we start back onto the other stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead, and so I folded these down just like an altered notebook. I'm not sure why I didn't do that in the front. You know me. So what I'm going to do, I think, is mark these edges here, kind of where they go, and I'm probably out of frame on some of it. But so then what I was thinking, since I marked those, so there's my top mark there, my bottom mark is I can't even see it. Oh, there it is. Hey, I'm gonna make it a little bigger so I can see it, because, you know, that's just me. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this, hopefully this works. Cardstock's not the easiest to tear. Hope I'm not jostling you guys too much. All right, well, I guess we're gonna fold it. There's always more than one way to get it done, right? Okay. Maybe. Oh boy. True to fashion, right? You know, I think maybe next time I would not do cardstock. I think I would just stick with my plain paper, if I'm being really honest. I mean, like, I love how sturdy it's made everything, but it's not the easiest to tear. So, yeah, that said, we're just gonna go ahead and cut it in there, and I think I'll just cut the rest instead of trying to tear. Okay, so then I'm gonna stick it down just a little bit so it still gets in the pocket there. Okay. Is that totally out of frame? Oh, let me check. Not completely, but we're getting there, huh? Any more and I will be. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and, oh, that's, oh no. Oh, what a nightmare I am. Okay, so don't do what I did and cut through the paper. But you know what? I'm just going to put glue there, and we're just going to keep soldering on. Because I think it'll end up just being fine. Do that. Yeah. You know what? It's going to have to be fine. And maybe that's where I just stick a cute little mushroom or something. Okay, I'm just going to stick my glue here. Stick it down. And since it's on a ring, I don't think I actually have to be as careful. Oh, it is on the back of that one. Okay, maybe. Is it supposed to be? Nope, it is. Oh, yes it is. Oh. Okay, so I think this is turning out to be a how not to do it more than a how to do it. So yeah, go ahead and giggle, guys. It's all good. Okay, so same with this one. Just gonna line it up here, and instead of trying to tear, I'm just gonna fold up where it needs to be. Okay. Really crease it down. And I'm gonna try really hard not to cut into it like I did this last time. I don't even know how that happened. Well, I think the boy is home. Because it can't possibly be Paul. Yeah, so, anyways. What projects do you guys have going on? Are you guys working on journals? Are you taking breaks after the busy holidays? Yep, the boy's home. Hi, Poe. He waves and runs. All right, yep, we're going to see how much we get done in 30 minutes here. And then I am starting my Emily design team project, which is far overdue. And I think I figured out exactly what kind of projects I want to be doing with them. It took my brain a little while to think of it, and I don't know why. It's kind of one of those, I guess, glitchy brain moments. There we go. Oh, you know what I didn't do on the other side? Oh well. I didn't glue the flap down. I don't know. It may or may not be a problem later. I'll let you know. Ooh, that's not good. So we were talking to friends a while ago, and we discovered how uncultured our children were because they haven't seen all the old great best movies ever, like Top Gun, or like the iconic movies. Like, my kids could quote you Monty Python and the Holy Grail, because that's kind of that's the kind of humor that runs in our household. Yeah, it's never a dull moment at the Farago house when somebody will quote Monty Python or The Princess Bride or Spies Like Us, or movies like that, because I think I've mentioned before that Paul loves that crazy humor, and I don't mind it either. Like Men in Tights, that's him and Gracie's like favorite go-to. Every time it's on, the world stops and that's what they do. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But for weeks after, that's all I hear is Men in Tight quotes. Which, I mean, life could be worse, right? I could have terrible teens and stuff. So yeah, I think, what I honestly think? I think sometimes, watching those goofy laugh with your family movies really, really, really gets closeness. If you can sit down as a family and enjoy stupid comedy, I don't know, I think sometimes it bridges some gaps and brings those teens back to reality, like what life is really all about. And I think more and more these days, we just need that in the world. Form those connections with those kids. And I tell you, the stupid comedies are pretty much a good way to do it. Yeah, so we enjoy watching those quite a bit with the kids, so. Oh, and I guess movie review time too a little bit. There's a new animated movie out called Spies in Disguise, I believe it is. It's a pretty good show. I mean, I like, sometimes, like, I don't like watching stuff like that because I spent years, doing the whole SpongeBob and Dora the Explorer and all the Nickelodeon channels, and because, well, quite honestly, up until a couple of years ago, we didn't really have internet at home. It was, I mean, the kids had phones in town since we lived so far away and all that jazz, and honestly, I can't tell you how much nerves it saved me, them having phones, especially with, all the school shootings, and, I'm that mom that totally freaks out if I haven't heard from my kids in a couple hours, or like, they're supposed to be home at 11 and they're, it's like 11:30. I mean, it's not it's not like we live in town to where, you know, one of them breaks down. I mean, if I don't know where you are, I don't know, you know, I don't know where to come rescue you, I guess, is another thing that I find. And that's, I'm that mom. You know, I got to know where you are. Just check in with me. I mean, I don't need to know, like, everything specific, like, when you went to the bathroom or anything, but you know, I need to know approximately where you are. I'm that terrified mom that in grocery stores, I would always, like, obviously buckle my children in, but then like, when I would be bending over looking at anything on the shelves, I, like, held onto the kids' arms, or I held onto their foot, you know, when they were babies, something. I don't know. I guess as a mom, that has always been my biggest fear, is abduction. So, yeah, and even now, like, the sex trafficking thing, I mean, they're abducting kids in their 20s. I'm like, holy cow. Like, really? Like, I mean, it shouldn't happen anytime, but I don't know. This stuff is just absolutely insane, the world we live in. So yeah, I mean, and I guess every mom should, I guess, be conceited a little bit, but I have really good looking kids, and that's always been my fear. You know, Bo's usually had like a dark blonde. Now that he's older, he's kind of more brown in hair. He's kind of taking after my side of the family a little bit in that, but Gracie's still not light blonde like she used to be, but she's getting a little darker. But you know, they're both light haired, blue eyed, cute as a button kids, and which, again, every kid is cute, yes, I know, and every mom is partial. They're pretty cute kids, and so I've always been terrified of them being abducted, and ugh, like, literally, I still have nightmares about it. Even now that he's 19 and she's 16, and you know, they've had some martial arts training, and they've had, you know, they both carry pepper spray and things like that. Oh gosh, it just terrifies this mom. Okay, I'm not actually sure what to do with this here, so I left it. I was actually thinking what might be kind of cool is adding some lined stuff. Not sure. Yeah, so we're just going to continue on here. Yeah, so I don't know. Are you other moms like that too, where you were just like terrified? I don't know if it's maybe like I'm terrified to see them grow up, or I don't know. I'm kind of weird that way. Like, I even told Bo, it's like, when you do move out, I'm still going to want to hear from you at least once a week, you know, or at least once a day. Just, hey, Mom, I'm still alive. You know, you don't have to give me a tutorial on your life, so to speak, but I would like to know that you're, you know, that you're alive, and, like, actually, like, hear your voice or see a current picture, or, you know, because then you hear these horror stories about these kids in their 20s being abducted. You know, they live on their own, whatever, and I don't know. And, you know, people will, like, steal their phones, right? Or, like, when they're abducted, they take them. And then, you know, you don't even know that they're really missing, because then they're, you know, not... They're just sending the messages through their phones. I know, like, oh. You know, and I should probably stop watching the true crime videos. That would probably be a very good idea for me and my sanity. But yeah, I get stuck in those rabbit holes, and then they just, you know, it just keeps on. Once you watch one, you're suckered into the other YouTubers that it pops up and recommended, and then, yeah, before you know it, you've watched like 5 hours of true crime, and you're scared to death. You even leave your front door. Yeah. Well, and I think too, me watching that, sometimes I get a little more sensitive about it too, as far as, you know, I know I've said before, our town literally has exploded. There's like, I don't know, latest population thing I think I read was over 200,000 in our town now. And that's not including like Fort Collins, because I know like a lot of cities are like this now, but like so like we live, if you were to draw like a triangle, we live like right here. Fort Collins is like in this direction and Loveland is in this direction, right? So really, in reality, it doesn't matter where we go, Fort Collins or Loveland. It's about the same. In fact, like the school district lines back right up to each other. So in reality, if I had wanted to take them down to the other bus stop, they could have went to Fort Collins schools instead of Loveland schools, right? Well, in like when you get into town, like into Loveland and Fort Collins area, it's now literally it's the same city. Not much differentiates the two. Like there's like 4 fields that on one of the main highways, 4 fields, and I mean that by like a couple hundred acres maybe, that separate Loveland and Fort Collins. So when I was a kid, Loveland didn't, I know this isn't going to make any sense to you, but if you happen to be looking at a map, when I was a real little kid, Loveland never went past 57th Avenue and didn't go past really Highway 402. You would have a few like mom and pop shops that were like on the outskirts, and the most it went was to Wilson. I know, like I said, I know this isn't going to make any sense. I'm just like, Wilson was like the city line. Like nothing went further west than that. And then let's see, trying to remember how far. It didn't really go past Boise Avenue when I was a kid. So that's not very many square miles. I mean, but now, I mean, it stretches past I-25, which is the main north and south corridor in Colorado. So it stretches way past there. And there's businesses going in left and right, or like reopening, like anything that was closed, like they're tearing down old office buildings and opening new stuff further west. So yeah, and north, like I said, it literally, like there is no difference between Loveland and Fort Collins. Like I said, a couple of fields, that's it. And then Berthoud is like the next south city, and so there's really not a whole lot of difference between Loveland and Berthoud now. There's like houses on almost every road south. Yeah, it's kind of like I said, and again, Berthoud is starting to move further and further east and further west. I will say though, I know Berthoud's had a lot of growth too, but I don't think it's growing as fast, maybe, as Loveland. And I think some of that is because a lot of the farmers still own the land in Berthoud, and I think they still have a lot of say. Like I think it was probably like 15 years ago or something. And I want to say, my Berthoud friends, you may correct me if I'm wrong, but Walmart wanted to put a Walmart in Windsor, and they wanted to put one in Berthoud, or was it Safeway? I can't remember, but they wanted to do that, and like basically the city of Berthoud was like, nope. And then Windsor was also the same way. They didn't want big box stores. They did let King Soopers and Safeway, which are our grocery stores here, they did let those 2 in. But yeah, they said no to Walmart. So Walmart went to Timnath, and that's a whole nother area. Like Fort Collins, like I said, is to the east of us. So Fort Collins is huge now. Like absolutely, like it's a giant. So it goes obviously just to the north of Loveland, and it's extending. Oh gosh, way up there. Like there's another little town, LaPorte. So there's really no difference between LaPorte and Fort Collins now. And then there's no difference really between Timnath and Fort Collins anymore either. East and that sort of thing. Oh my gosh. And Wellington, oh my gosh. It literally, this whole area is like another Denver. Because like in Denver, there's Denver, and then there's Aurora and Littleton and Arvada, Glenwood, or not Glenwood, North Glen, that sort of thing, which they're all kind of, they were once upon a time their own little towns, but now it's just a big conglomerate of Denver, right? Yeah, there's no really defining lines. Like Thornton and North Glen and all of those are just all pretty much the same territory now. There's like no building space, especially like when you start going off of I-25 east and west, then you start getting more like, you know, some rural areas and stuff back, but you have to go quite a ways. And then going from Longmont or Berthoud to Longmont, and then Longmont to Broomfield, it's populated. It's just kind of nuts how fast it all happened. Yeah. So it's crazy. Our state is literally, I think, running out of space. Yeah, I say that, and then you know, people go to the mountains and are like, oh no, you got plenty of room. But it's like, comparatively speaking, you know, and I keep saying, and this was part of one of Gracie's FFA things, it's like, we as humans keep using up all of the arable land, like land that we could be using for crops, or that we should be using for crops. We keep using it all. We're like boxing it all in. And I don't, people in Kansas can comment here too, in Nebraska. I don't know how much growth they've really had, but I mean, those are major croplands, like, and they're being, in my opinion, I mean, in Colorado had a lot of corn and hay and stuff like that, but it's all being used for corporate stuff and housing. So Gracie's major talk was about that in, I want to call it the CDE competition. Oh my gosh, did you guys see what I just did? All right, well, that's going to have to dry. That's awkward. All right, well, let's hope there's enough glue still left on this. Yeah, so as I was saying a second ago, so that's what she was saying, you know, arable, like, could the world go vegetarian? And that was her topic. Like, could we grow enough food for every person in the United States to be, not vegetarian, vegan? And the short answer is no. There is not enough land to grow enough food for the animals, obviously. And there's not enough arable land to grow crops enough in the United States to make it vegan. And, you know, vegan, well, okay, so the way I look at it is vegan is, there are true vegans, right? The ones that use absolutely nothing, animal byproduct, like, you don't have cell phones, you don't have TVs, you don't, I mean, Gracie has the list if you guys are interested. She might even be willing to do her little speech for you guys while I'm crafting. You guys could listen to that. It's really good. But, you know, there's so many products you don't even know that use animal byproduct. So, like, if you, and I mean, I don't, truthfully, guys, I don't care what you are. If you're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore, whatever, I don't care. I mean, that, each to your own. Like, if you love meat, you just eat that meat. If you how do I say it? Like, I don't care. Like, you be you. You know, if you don't prefer to eat meat and you want to eat just vegetables and cheese, eat that. If you prefer not to even eat cheese, you do you. Whatever works best for you, whatever works best for your health. You know, alls I care about is that each person is happy and healthy and living the best life they can live. So, but as far as, like, you know, is it feasible? That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, so Grace, I helped her with her research, but she did a lot of it on her own too. It's like, is it feasible for everybody to go vegan? It is not. It is not possible. There is not enough land left over, because then, it brings, what I was saying a second ago, it brings into question, if you're not eating the animals, right? If you're not, what do you do with them then? Because soon, right, you're going to have an overpopulation of those animals. Because, part of the vegan thing is you don't do harm to animals, right? Well, spaying and neutering, in a sense, can be harmful, right? Like, they say that it's not, like when they put them under, but like you can't do that with rabbits. More times than not, they have nasty side effects, especially if the vet in question doesn't know the ins and outs of neutering a rabbit. Or like, okay, so you're not eating your predators, and your deer and everything would be completely out of control. And that's, we see that happening in our state now, where there's just not enough hunters left. They've left the state and not enough are coming back to hunt. And so deer and elk population is literally destroying Rocky Mountain National Forest. Like, there is nothing left for other animals to eat, because the elk population is so huge. Well, then if you're just letting them be who they're going to be, right? Like, we took out a lot of the natural predators of elk, so now, essentially they have free reign, right? Well, it destroys the ecosystem. It's causing disease. I don't know. So again, I don't know what the answers are. I'm just, it's just purely conversation and speculation. It's like, so if you do go completely vegan, what is your answer to do no harm to animals? Do you kind of harm them by spaying and neutering all the wild ones? And then obviously the other side to that is, once they're all spayed and neutered, right, then they're not reproducing, which is a problem, because the land itself doesn't have enough nutrients to support the people on a vegan diet. Like, it would, like, in a matter of probably 2 or 3 years, I can't remember what the research said now, all of the vitamins and minerals would be depleted from the food. So then you no longer have healthy people, right? So again, it just, like I said, I don't care which way what side of the world or spectrum you fall on that particular topic. I'm just saying, like, it's just not possible. It's not possible without answering a bunch of other questions and forethought, I don't know. Just kind of the conundrums the world faces these days, right? So sorry about that whole long little rant discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Those are, since we do have an ag life, that's kind of, the things that the Farragos talk about, because I want my kids to, one, always be respectful of other people's wishes and their lifestyles. I'm a firm believer that you should never judge somebody's lifestyle. Obviously not like criminal type behavior, but like I said, if you're a vegan, you know what? When you come to my house, I'll make sure there's at least one vegan dish for you. I'm all about, inclusion and things like that. Like, if we, we have several people in our lives that have allergies to gluten, and, we always try to make sure that there's something, there for everybody. And we do eat rabbit. We do eat chicken. We grow a lot of what we eat. We always buy locally for our beef. Like, we know the farmer who raises our beef. We know the farmer's daughter, really, of the pig that we eat. We don't buy anything with antibiotics in it. We try to stay away from preservatives as much as possible. But that said, I have always taught my kids, not everybody's going to see life from your point of view, and that's okay, because that's what makes the world go round. You know, you don't get to be mean and you don't get to be judgmental if they don't particularly care for the way you live your life, and vice versa. You know, you don't get defensive. Just move on about your business. You know, some people get it, some people don't, and those that don't, whatever. You know, do no harm. Do no harm to yourself and do no harm to others. That's how you should live your life, in my opinion. So, yeah, maybe this, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this video doesn't see the light of day. I don't know, because I know I've just talked about a lot of, I don't know, could be controversial things, and I don't mean them to be. But I think sometimes it's good to talk about those things, because you kind of, how else are you ever going to change your mind on a certain subject, right? How are you going to learn anything new? Like, you know what, in the comments, if somebody disagrees with something I said, you know, say so. I mean, in a polite manner. You know, I don't feel like I'm attacking anybody. I sure hope it doesn't come across that way, because, like I said, I don't care how you live your life. As long as you're being the best you, and you're not mean, you're not a bully, you live you. And, but that said, you know, I would expect the same treatment, you know. Yeah, so anyhow, but yeah, so what I was saying is that, I mean, we as a family talk about those kind of things, because one, I want the kids to be educated about conversations they might face, you know, and I want them to be able to feel like they can stand up for what they believe in. And, you know, not everybody in our family, like the four of us I'm speaking, agrees on any specific topic as far as, you know, world views. I mean, and you don't have to. I don't think so. I think that's the unique thing about life, is you don't have to have the same opinion, even with your close family members, you know, to get along and be kind. And I wish the world would adopt more, I should say more people in the world would adopt that philosophy that, you know, everybody's allowed their opinion, even if it differs from what you believe. Because I could give you a whole laundry list of things I don't think are right in the world, but you know what? I don't live your life. I don't, you know. Oh boy. This is kind of a deep video, isn't it? Maybe it's the day timer. We should blame it on the day timer. Thinking about time this year, right? That's what it is. So, yep, I just find other people's views fascinating. And I think a lot of people that know me really well will kind of tell you that. Like, there's a reason they don't mind discussing things with me. It's because I am kind of open to different ideas, different concepts, different ways of looking at things. There's no one right way to live. In my opinion. Alright, so now we're getting onto the Tracey papers here. And I did already kind of cut these down a little bit to kind of save time. Alright. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of digging this whole thing. I think it's turning out pretty cute. And I'm not worried in the slightest about, like, colors matching, or, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously, I don't want it looking like a toe, but I don't, yeah, I'm liking the way it's looking. And you know what? I'll probably not even use like an eighth of these pockets, but I'm having fun. So I hope you guys get yourself a daytime or two and just have a whole glorious day, just altering it and making it your own. Oh, yep, and we're probably at 30 minutes now. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I will probably finish it up on my own, and then like in the next few videos, I'll give you a flip through of what it kind of looks like. Yeah, so have a great day, guys. Bye.